You're staring at another blank thank you email, and your inbox is pinging faster than your group chat. Another donor to thank, another touch point to craft. But what if there was someone waiting, ready to draft the first pass for you, before your coffee even cools? If you ignore the tech, Tuesday nights stay lost to sentence wrestling. But embrace it, and you'll win back hours every single week. So, let's talk fundraising. Fundraising at its core is about relationships, real, genuine connections built over time. You know this, it's not just a nice idea. It's the very engine that powers every successful gift and every lasting donor relationship you've ever built. But there's a problem, a silent but persistent one, and it's called administration drag. It's not glamorous, but it's very real. You felt it when a simple thank you note turns into a 20-minute ordeal. You felt it when board reports become late-night homework. You felt it when prospect research spirals into hours of tab switching and rabbit holes. And when your week is overloaded with the tasks that feel like paperwork instead of people work, the joy drains away. Your passion gets buried beneath deadlines, and stewardship feels more like survival. That reality is common. Maybe it's your reality right now. I've certainly been there. And it's not because you or I lack efficiency or effort. It's because fundraising roles have evolved, but our strategies to manage them haven't kept up. The demands increase, but your time stays fixed. Something has to give. And too often what gives is the heart of fundraising itself. Those personal touches, the thoughtful calls, the moments spent truly understanding your donors. Think about the fundamental truth of fundraising. Donors don't give to organizations. They give through people they trust to missions they believe in and relationships that matter deeply to them. And yet somehow, so many of our hours are spent not on deepening relationships, but on managing administrative tasks. Now imagine if it didn't have to be this way. What if the basic administrative tasks, the routine, repetitive parts of fundraising, could shrink dramatically? What if your attention was freed up, even a little, to pour back into the relationships that matter most? Pause for a moment and consider this. What's one piece of busy work you wish could vanish tomorrow, freeing you to reconnect with the people behind your mission? When I started experimenting with AI, specifically ChatGPT, in fundraising workflows, I wasn't trying to replace the heart of our work. I really wanted to enhance it, to reclaim space in the calendar for genuine conversations. And what I discovered was transformative, not because AI took over relationships, but because it supported them. It relieved me of the time-consuming routine tasks, allowing me to bring my full self back into the donor conversations. But let's pause and get very real here. I know you might be skeptical. Maybe you're thinking, Keith, relationships aren't built by technology. They're built by humans. And you're absolutely right. Like no AI tool can replicate your unique touch, your empathy, your insights, or your careful understanding of donor motivations. No algorithm can replace your ability to read between the lines of a donor's email or sense when a phone call will mean more than a perfectly drafted letter. However, AI can support exactly that kind of relationship building by taking on some of the burdens that drain your energy. For example, think about writing a donor email. The hardest part usually isn't the personalization. It's getting the first draft on paper. It's overcoming that blank screen staring back at you. AI is great at first drafts. It can quickly assemble a thoughtful starting point that you then personalize, refine, and make truly meaningful. It's not automating your relationship. It's automating your administrative work so that your relationships can thrive. And here's another real-world truth. Burnout in fundraising is rampant. Turnover rates are high because fundraisers are consistently asked to do more with less. Fundraising professionals, especially major gift officers and small shop directors, are working hours that don't match the mission-driven passion that brought them to the field in the first place. This isn't sustainable. You've likely felt the squeeze yourself. It's a universal challenge in our profession. How do you sustain energy, empathy, and passion when the administrative demands continue to mount? This is exactly the pain point AI can address, not by replacing the human connection, but by restoring your capacity to focus on it. AI helps create margin, breathing room, a chance to step back and ask deeper questions. It lets you reconnect with why you got into fundraising in the first place, to help transform missions into reality, to build lasting relationships, and to genuinely enjoy the process of stewarding generosity. So let me share one more reality. Your donors are already experiencing AI-driven communications every single day, in their inboxes, on their social media, and in virtually every consumer interaction. Donors aren't shocked or offended by thoughtful automation. They're accustomed to it. But here's where you have a unique advantage: your intention. AI in fundraising is at its best when guided by the ethical, human-centered principles that are already core to your work. It's about amplifying your values, not diluting them. So pause again and reflect. What would it mean for your week if you spent even 2 fewer hours on routine administrative tasks? How would that shift your relationship building capacity? So let's acknowledge something else. Technology is imperfect. AI models, including ChatGPT, they're not flawless. They require oversight, thoughtful use, and ethical boundaries, just like any powerful tool. The idea isn't to trust them blindly, but to use them wisely. AI isn't here to take your job. It's here to let you do your job better. And I've seen firsthand how carefully implemented AI can drastically reduce administrative workloads. It can automate the tedious, repetitive tasks that drain your energy, freeing you to spend more time doing the work that only you can do. The relationship building, the trust earning, the heart-driven work of fundraising. And as it reduces your administrative drag, it magnifies your capacity to steward donor relationships authentically. So, take a moment and consider the next step you could take. If you could reclaim some time this week, how would you reinvest it into relationships? Would it be an extra call, a deeper conversation, a more thoughtful stewardship touchpoint? Because that's the promise of smart AI use in fundraising. Not replacing your personal touch, but reclaiming it from the grip of administrative overload. Fundraising isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. It's about stewarding your donors in ways that align with their values and yours. It's about recognizing the power of relationships and honoring that power by prioritizing it. AI won't replace you, but it will empower you, freeing you to be more intentional, more present, and ultimately more effective. So here's the fundraising principle we're exploring today. Stewardship thrives when technology serves your mission, not the other way around. This isn't about automating relationships. It's about automating the distractions. And when you reduce those distractions, stewardship can flourish. And isn't that the real goal? Because when administrative drag shrinks, relationship building soars. And when relationships soar, so does fundraising. And that's the future we're exploring today. And now let's move from principles to practice. Let's talk about exactly how ChatGPT can start serving your mission right now. So we've talked about why stewardship thrives when technology serves your mission, not the other way around. But let's get concrete, because I know you're probably thinking, Keith, this sounds great, but how do I actually put this into practice? And here's exactly how ChatGPT fits in your day-to-day fundraising work. Let's start with something we all deal with: drafting a donor communications piece. We do it daily, but rarely do we think about how much time we're truly spending on it. Picture this scenario. You've just had a donor commit to supporting a scholarship fund. You're thrilled, they're thrilled, and your next step is obvious: crafting a heartfelt thank you email. It sounds straightforward, but how often has that simple email turned into a time-consuming task? 20 minutes? 30 minutes? Maybe even longer? As you try to strike the right balance of warmth, gratitude, and personalization. Now imagine starting with a draft that's already 70% there. A draft you didn't write yourself, but that's immediately useful, thoughtful, and responsive to your prompt. All you have to do is tweak, add your personal insights, and hit send. That's exactly what ChatGPT can do for you. It gives you that first draft, saving you from staring at a blank screen. So let's look at precisely how you'd use ChatGPT for this. Step 1, put together the context, quick, non-sensitive details. Maybe something like, donor just committed to funding a scholarship for first-generation college students. They are passionate about educational access and previously mentioned how scholarships changed their life. Notice what's missing here. There's no sensitive details, there's no private information, just enough context for ChatGPT to understand and respond meaningfully. And the second step, use a clear, direct prompt, something like, draft a brief, warm thank you email acknowledging their generous commitment to our first-generation scholarship fund, and include an offer for them to meet students impacted by their gift. And here's exactly what ChatGPT might produce from a prompt like that. Subject line, your generosity will change lives. Dear donor name, I can't thank you enough for your generous commitment to supporting scholarships for first-generation college students. Your gift will create a profound impact, opening doors to education and opportunity for young people whose lives will truly be transformed by your kindness. Given your passion for educational access, I'd love to invite you to meet some of the incredible students whose dreams you're helping to make possible. Please let me know if you'd like to arrange a campus visit or join us virtually. I know it would mean a lot to meet the person making their dreams a reality. Thank you again. Your generosity makes all the difference. Warm regards, and then your name for a placeholder. And think about this for a moment. How long would you typically spend drafting something similar from scratch? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? Maybe more? With ChatGPT, your first draft arrives within seconds. Suddenly, the bulk of the work is behind you, and all that's left is a personal tweak here or there to make it uniquely yours. Now let's translate that into measurable terms. Say you're typically spending about 20 minutes on every donor email from a blank page. ChatGPT reduces that to under 5 minutes. That's 15 minutes saved per email. And if you're sending out even 10 personalized emails a week, that's 2.5 hours saved every single week. And that's not just a time-saving trick. It's a fundamental shift in how you approach donor communications. Instead of exhausting yourself on routine writing tasks, your energy goes directly into genuine personalization and thoughtful follow-ups. The exact things that strengthen relationships. But ChatGPT's impact goes beyond simple emails. Let's think about another everyday fundraising challenges. Preparing donor summaries and briefing sheets. You've got a meeting coming up with a prospect, and your job is to distill scattered notes, past giving history, and recent interactions into a quick reference summary. Doing that manually is draining, time-consuming, and frankly, it's a recipe for burnout. But again, ChatGPT comes to the rescue with just 2 simple steps. First one, take a few bullet points of relevant information that you already have without the sensitive details. Something like, donor has previously supported cancer research. Their last gift was 2 years ago. Recently attended our annual gala and expressed interest in pediatric cancer research after a recent family experience. Step 2, enter this into ChatGPT with a prompt like, create a concise donor summary for an upcoming meeting, highlighting their previous giving, recent event attendance, and potential areas of interest for future giving. Within moments, you receive something that looks like this. Donor summary, bullet point, history of support, previously donated to cancer research programs with the last contributions made 2 years ago. Second bullet point, recent engagement, attended our annual gala last month and had conversations expressing a strong personal interest in pediatric cancer research influenced by recent family experiences. Third bullet point, suggested approach, discuss specific initiatives within pediatric cancer research, including current funding needs and opportunities to make an immediate impact aligned with their expressed passion. And just like that, your prep work shrinks from an hour of digging and drafting to mere minutes. You're freed from administrative overload and able to focus instead on strategy and meaningful connections in your donor interactions. Now, I want to acknowledge another crucial point: data security, because this is real-world fundraising and the safety of donor information matters deeply. Notice that at no point did we input sensitive data into ChatGPT. No addresses, no names, no financial records, no private details. ChatGPT doesn't require sensitive information to be effective. It simply needs some context. So here's the key principles to remember. Describe, don't deposit. Provide general, non-sensitive information to guide ChatGPT. You never paste private details directly. Instead, you keep your sensitive data secure in your own systems, using ChatGPT as a tool to streamline your public-facing communications. So, take a moment to reflect on your workflow. How many tasks in your typical week could become lighter, faster, or even disappear entirely if you had ChatGPT as your virtual assistant? And here's the real metric that matters most. When your administrative workload shrinks, your relationship capacity expands. The hours saved aren't just nice to have, they're essential. These saved hours become phone calls, face-to-face meetings, deeper research, better follow-ups, the exact tasks that make stewardship thrive. But here's another benefit we haven't talked about yet: confidence. When you know you've got a reliable assistant handling routine drafts and summaries, your mental space is clearer. You approach donor meetings with better focus and greater clarity. Your energy is higher, your presence is more impactful, and that's something that donors feel, and it's something they appreciate. So let's recap what we've covered here. ChatGPT, it streamlines the routine tasks, whether it's emails, summaries, prep, freeing your significant time. Second, you maintain security by never pasting sensitive data directly. Third, the time saved translates directly into higher quality donor relationships. And fourth, your mental load decreases, letting you engage more confidently and authentically. And I know what you're thinking. Could it really be that easy? Could it truly make this big of a difference? And the short answer is yes. It's exactly what happens when technology serves your mission rather than replacing it. So, as we move forward, I want you to carry this question with you. If administration drag shrinks, how much bigger can your impact become? And with that thought in mind, let's dive deeper into the mindset shifts needed to fully embrace the AI-driven fundraising and reclaim your most important resource. And that's you. So let's talk frankly about mindset, because embracing AI isn't just a technological shift. It's an emotional one. It changes how you think about your role, your workload, and even your identity as a fundraiser. And a shifting mindset can feel uncomfortable. It's normal to feel resistance and uncertainty. And the biggest hurdle I've encountered both personally and when talking to fundraisers across the country is the worry that using AI, especially something like ChatGPT, means losing your authentic human touch. Maybe you felt that too. Perhaps you're thinking, Keith, my strength is connecting deeply with people. AI sounds impersonal. It doesn't feel like me. And I get that, because that's exactly how I felt initially. My own skepticism ran deep. After all, relationships are built on trust and authenticity, and the thought of turning that sacred trust over, even partially, to technology felt really uncomfortable. But here's the critical mindset shift that transformed how I saw AI and how you can too. It's not about replacing your personal touch. It's about reclaiming it. So think about it. When you're bogged down in repetitive tasks, routine writing, and endless administration, your authentic human touch is already compromised. The drain of administrative overload isn't just a frustration. It subtly undermines your ability to connect genuinely with donors. Your focus splits, your energy scatters, and what should be meaningful conversations start feeling transactional. So instead of thinking, AI will take away my authenticity, try shifting to, AI frees me to express my authenticity more fully. And let me be clear, Your superpower as a fundraiser is precisely that unique empathy and insight that you bring to every interaction. No AI can replicate your instincts, your ability to listen deeply, your sensitivity to subtle signals in a conversation. AI simply doesn't have that capability, and it likely never will, or at least not in our lifetimes. But it can clear away distractions, lighten the administrative load, and give you the space and energy that you need to bring your whole authentic self to work. And here's another common limiting belief that often surfaces. AI will lead to mistakes or inaccuracies that damage donor trust. This fear is real, and it's understandable. You value accuracy, trust, and integrity deeply, and rightly so. So donors rely on your credibility, and any missteps can feel high stakes. But here's where a second mindset shift is crucial. You don't trust AI blindly. You guide it purposefully. Think of AI like an eager, hardworking intern, someone bright and capable, but in need of clear direction and careful oversight. Just as you'd never expect a new intern to handle high-stakes donor communications without checking their work, AI requires the same careful oversight. You're never outsourcing your judgment. You're guiding the output to reflect your values and your standards. Practically speaking, this means establishing a simple routine. Use ChatGPT for quick, efficient first drafts or summaries. Then step in with your expertise, your insights, and your careful eye for nuance. The final product isn't an AI creation, it's your creation, simply accelerated by thoughtful use of technology. And let's also address another important mindset block. Learning to use AI is just another overwhelming task added to my plate. I don't have the time. And believe me, I understand that sentiment deeply. You're already pressed for time. The thought of adding even a minor learning curve can feel daunting. But here's the shift. AI isn't another burden. It's a tool designed specifically to remove burdens. This isn't about spending hours learning a complicated system. AI, especially tools like ChatGPT, is remarkably intuitive. With a handful of straightforward prompts and a minimal initial investment of time, literally minutes, not hours, you'll quickly reclaim those minutes and more week after week. So let me ask you this. If you knew a small upfront investment of time, say an hour this week, would immediately begin paying dividends of hours saved every week afterward, wouldn't it be worth the leap? And that's exactly the reality fundraisers I've worked with experience. After just a few prompt templates and a bit of initial familiarity, they're off and running. It's not another complex platform. It's a simple, intuitive assistant that immediately starts easing the administrative load. So let's touch on one more mindset hurdle, perhaps the one that's most profound of all. AI feels like a threat to my job security or my value as a fundraiser. And if you've ever felt this fear, you're not alone. AI anxiety is prevalent in virtually every profession right now. But the truth is the opposite of what you might fear. And here's the critical reframing. AI doesn't threaten your job. It elevates it. Think for a moment about what makes fundraising uniquely human. Empathy, nuanced judgment, emotional intelligence, creativity, and engaging donors. And these are precisely the areas that AI can't replicate. AI excels at repetition, summarizing information, and providing great starting points. It's not good at human insight, at emotional resonance, and at personal connections. Those are uniquely human skills, and they're your skills. When AI manages the repetitive, predictable tasks, your uniquely human skills come front and center. Instead of feeling replaceable, your value becomes clear and even more essential. In an AI-supported workflow, fundraisers aren't interchangeable. We're irreplaceable. So consider this shift carefully. Your value isn't diminished by using AI. Your value actually increases. Your capacity for creativity and empathy grows. Your expertise shines brighter. Your relationships deepen. And let's pause here and ask an important question. What would change for you professionally if you fully embrace this mindset, if you viewed AI as a tool that elevates your skills and deepens your impact. And finally, let's address one last subtle mindset barrier that often sneaks in. I've tried shiny new tools before. They never deliver as promised. And that skepticism is healthy. You've likely experienced tech tools that promise the moon and the stars and delivered frustration instead. It's understandable to hesitate, but the difference here is significant. AI tools like ChatGPT aren't a one-off shiny tool. It's a practical, reliable partner already proven across industries. Millions of people use this very tool every day, not as a flashy gadget, but as a reliable assistant. Its utility is proven. And your challenge isn't whether it works, it's simply discovering how best it can work for you, for your donors, and for your mission. And the beauty of starting small with just a few prompts, just a few tasks, is precisely that. You're not making a grand, risky leap. You're taking measured steps that immediately return value. This isn't blind trust. It's careful exploration. So, as we move forward today, here's the mindset shifts in summary. We're moving from AI feels impersonal to AI allows me to be more personal. We're switching from AI risks mistakes to AI as a tool I guide carefully. We're switching from AI adds another burden to AI lifts burdens quickly. And we're leaving behind AI threatens my job to AI enhances my value. We're switching from AI as just another shiny tool to AI as a proven and practical partner. Reflect on these shifts. Consider which resonates most deeply for you. Because the goal here isn't about technology. It's about the confidence, the clarity, and the focus that technology can return to you. It's about reclaiming the essence of fundraising, authentic, relationship-driven, human-to-human connection. And here's the truth that we're leaning into today. Stewardship isn't about more activity. It's about deeper impact. AI is simply a path to deeper impact. So with the shift in mindset, imagine stepping back into your role tomorrow. What tasks might you approach differently? What new freedom would you feel knowing that your authenticity is no longer compromised by administrative overload? Hold on to that thought. Carry it forward, because that's exactly the future we're building, one thoughtful, meaningful step at a time. So let's quickly recap the journey we've taken today, because we've covered a lot. We started by acknowledging that relationships sit at the heart of fundraising, but that administrative drag often gets in the way, diluting your energy, your focus, and your passion. We then explore how practical, careful use of ChatGPT can reduce your administrative burden, freeing your time for deeper, more meaningful connections with donors. We also tackled some significant mindset shifts. AI doesn't dilute your authenticity, it simply amplifies it. It doesn't threaten your job, it elevates it. AI, when used wisely, is your partner in reclaiming what matters most in fundraising: genuine human relationships and authentic stewardship. But now let's turn this conversation into action, your action. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one simple donor communications task today. Maybe it's a thank you email you've been meaning to send or a quick donor summary you've been dreading putting together. Use the straightforward two-step ChatGPT prompt we discussed earlier. Give it some basic context, and remember, no sensitive details, and ask it for a first draft. Try it once today, and then reach out and let me know how many minutes did you reclaim? What new possibilities opened up when your administrative load got lighter? This isn't an opt-in, it's just a friendly invitation. So, message me on LinkedIn, share your quick win, and let's celebrate together how even small steps can lead to big shifts in your fundraising. Because next week we're diving deeper. We'll tackle exactly how to ensure donor data stays secure and private, even as you leverage AI. If you've worried about data safety or even felt hesitant to fully embrace AI, next week's episode is built precisely for you. Because here's the truth. Fundraising isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. It's about stewarding relationships deeply and authentically. And technology, when thoughtfully embraced, can be your greatest ally in achieving exactly that. So until next time, keep building your relationships, reclaiming your time, and most importantly, keep making an impact. I'll see you soon.